So today I'm going to be talking about the cultural differences between northern and southern Italy. So as you can see on this map, I have northern Italy, which includes Milan, Turin, those are huge cities, Florence, and just below Rome is what we consider southern Italy. So Naples, Sorrento, Sicily, the area that we live in. So why are the north and the south so different? Just a little historical background. Italy was not unified until 1861, and that unification was called the Risorgimento. And so northern and southern Italy were made up of independent kingdoms and states ruled by different powers. So as we've kind of touched on in class, the northern had more of an Austrian influence, they had French influence, and the Holy Roman Empire. The south had Kingdom of Two Sicilies. And so that played a huge role in the food, the architecture, the economy, and just the lifestyle of these people. Other non-political differences such as geography, climate, and agriculture play a role, especially in the food. So the food in the north, they mainly use butter as their main cooking fat. They have beef, veal, and pork as their main proteins. They use creamy sauces, and their main dishes are risotto and egg-based pastas. And this is because the north has a cooler alpine climate, and so they have more farming up there, dairy farming, livestock, and they also have more rice growing, which attributes to risotto being a main popular dish here. And in the south, olive oil is the main cooking fat. And I'm sure we've learned that just being in the south, they use olive oil a lot. They also have a lot of seafood and veggies. The seafood is especially common along the coastal cities. We also have more tomato-based sauces, and our main dishes are dry pastas and pizza, because pizza, as we've learned, originates in Naples. And the south also has a warmer Mediterranean climate. We have more olives growing, citrus fruits growing. We have more of that volcanic soil that supports a lot of these fruits, and so that's why we see so many lemons here growing in Sorrento and other places along this coast. So the architecture, the north has more of an Austrian and French influence, and you can see that in their grand palaces, the elegance, the Renaissance architecture. And I included a photo here of the Venice Opera House. I was in Austria the week before I went to Venice, and I saw a lot of overlap in the interiors. There was just so much elegance and beautiful, beautiful buildings. And in the south, there's more Greek and Spanish influences. You can definitely see the wealth gap in the north and the south. There's also Baroque architectural styles, whitewashed buildings, more narrow streets, and colorful towns along the coast. And so as you can see here, as we've seen in our trips to Positano, that these buildings were painted by fishermen to help them recognize their homes from the water. So they were very colorful, as we've all seen in the Amalfi Coast, lots of colorful buildings. And I also included a photo of one of the cathedrals in Amalfi, just to show the difference between the northern and southern cathedrals and their architecture. So next is lifestyle and family. So southern Italy is more family-oriented. People typically stay within family businesses. They're very community-oriented, and they have a slower-paced life. And a lot of that is attributed to the economy, which I'll talk about next. But northern Italy is more career-oriented. They're independent. They have one of the biggest colleges there, which attributes to that. They're also very fast-paced because they're more industrialized. And so yeah, southern Italy and northern Italy have a lot of just differences in the way people go about their lives, in the way that they have these connections with others, and the way that they make their money. And so let's talk about economy. Southern Italy has faced more economic struggle than the north. The north is historically more wealthy than the south, and the north is more industrialized, which is why they have more job opportunities, because the south depends mostly on agriculture and tourism. And we've seen that a lot, especially in Sorrento, that tourism is huge for the south, and a lot of people would not have jobs without it. And even so, the employment rate in the south is 23.82% lower than the North. And we see a lot of that comes from the industrialization of the North and how different their economy is from the South. And yeah, here's my bibliography, and thank you for listening.